Welcome back to another edition of President's Corner. I am Kirk LaDu, the president of Parallel Employment Group. We are starting the year off today with the person who normally is behind the scenes of all of the President's Corner and putting all of this together. She is our Director of Marketing, Jamie Sanfelippo. You wear a lot of hats, so we're going to get into that, but I first want to know, how did you get into marketing in the first place?
Yeah, so I have been in marketing for about 5 years now. I started in a packaging company in the Bayview area, and I did some little stuff. I did like social media marketing, some email marketing, stuff like that, and I kind of learned all like on the job. I went to school for sign language, so it's a little different than marketing. But before that, I was a barista for 6 years, and I helped out with one of the coffee shops that I worked at, their Instagram page a little bit, and now I'm here.
A lot of marketing positions, you specify in one real area. I have a family member who is graduated with a degree in marketing and specializes in digital marketing. That is not the case at Parallel Employment Group. You are a one-person show, which means you have to wear a lot of different hats within the marketing division. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that, and how do you describe your job to people on the outside?
Yeah, so normally when people ask me about my job, I just say that like I do social media management and I order some promo items for more like contact type marketing, stuff like that. But some people are like genuinely curious, so I say more stuff like B2B type marketing, paid campaigns, pay-per-click, website stuff, do everything under the sun.
But you also play a role. It isn't just marketing as promoting the business. Because we are a staffing firm, recruiting is a big part of what we do. It's the main part of our business. And you have to function within that as well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so with the recruiting stuff, it's mostly like Facebook ads and stuff. So the branch managers will reach out and they'll tell me that they have a position that they are really working hard on recruiting for. So I will make the ad image, the ad copy. I'll choose which region I think it would fit best. So if it's coming from the Milwaukee branch, then I would have the region of people that will reach in the Milwaukee area, Bayview area, stuff like that. Other things, our Milwaukee branch also had a job fair recently, and I kind of put that at the top of my priority list for them because it was for a big client that they've been working hard on getting employees for. So I made a job fair flyer, and I made different like social posts for the job fair, Facebook ads, registration forms, everything to get people to show up, and I think it had a pretty good turnout. But yeah, those are just a couple of examples of how I help with the recruiting part.
How did you end up in the staffing world? Is it something that you were interested in and focused on getting a role in that industry?
Yeah, so staffing is very different compared to packaging and like Mattel, like kids' toys and stuff like that. So when you think of marketing, you usually think of like law firms or commercials for like different businesses like Target, like stuff like that. And I thought, staffing doesn't have a lot of that, so that kind of intrigued me a little bit. And I was at a conference a couple months ago, and I was talking to one of the people there, and they asked me a similar question, and they basically said, isn't it funny, like you don't go looking for the staffing agency finds you. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that kind of stuck with me. So.
That's what happens to all of us in this industry. I don't think anybody graduates from college and says, what I want to do is get into staffing. And then once it finds you, it becomes kind of addictive if you're the right person for the industry. With your role, there's a lot of different spend. The platforms that we use, are not free. How do you decide how you're going to budget and where the money's going to go?
So with the budgeting, I kind of leave that with the branches. So, for example, Facebook ads, I can tell them that like, hey, if you want an ad for this specific job, I would suggest like increasing your ad budget to this much so you can reach this many people and increase your applicant pool that way. Other things I suggest are different stuff like bus shelter ads and like stuff like that. But it's really, I really leave it to the branches and what fits best with their budgeting for, you know, their needs.
What advice would you give to other businesses in regards to staying consistent with their marketing?
Staying consistent in marketing really comes down to focus and systems. So this is another one where I also attended another talk a few weeks ago, and the guy said that you don't have to be everywhere. You can try different things, but you don't have to be everywhere. And learning different like social platforms, algorithms, you know, it's a lot. So limiting to where your people are, where your niche is, would be the best bet. And if you're on like Instagram and you're not getting like, you know, a huge amount of engagement within the first week, I would say just keep at it, stay consistent, and your people will follow.
As I mentioned, you manage all of our social media, you do our blogs, you're in charge of this podcast. How do you decide, you know, other than budget, there's a time factor. How do you decide where you're going to focus your time on?
Yeah, I have a task management tool that I use, and I put my tasks in there depending on priority. So big projects at the top, and then, you know, not so big ones at the bottom. And sometimes things get thrown in there that aren't planned for, like I mentioned before, the job fair for Milwaukee, the Milwaukee branch. That was one that was slid in there, but it was top priority for them, so it was a top priority for me. So I kind of rearranged my tasks a little bit, and I was able to get that done for them. So yeah, I basically use a task management tool, and I prioritize as
We talked about how marketing supports the sales team and the client relationships. That's obviously a big part of your responsibilities.
Yeah, marketing supports sales by keeping the brand visible and top of mind. It helps warm up prospects, reinforce credibility, and it gives the sales team tools to start different conversations more naturally. And we also have a few sales initiatives that also include social support with that. In staffing as well, marketing also strengthens client relationships by keeping communication consistent and value-driven.
Okay, excellent. You're also in charge of all the social functions within Parallel, from our holiday parties to our picnics and anything in between. Why are these events important, and why are they so important to the culture of any company?
Yeah, so these events are important to improve employee retention and commitment to the company. It's also a great way to get people together that don't normally see each other. So for example, the Janesville branch gets to see people from the Racine branch and stuff like that. They get to hang out with people that they don't usually see. These events also bring good social content as well that brings forth the people-to-people aspect. I really enjoy these events as well because it shows both the candidates and clients, the people behind the scenes.
Okay, excellent. In every job, you have responsibilities that you enjoy, and you have other responsibilities that are more mundane, or certainly aren't your favorite. What is your favorite part about your position with Parallel Employment?
My favorite part about working at Parallel is the people. Everyone here is awesome. They are unmatched compared to anywhere else I've worked. They're friendly, they're nice, supportive, and they're always happy to help me with various tasks and answer random questions that I happen to throw at them. My job is also very unique. It's very creative, creating social posts, the party planning, the blogs, you know, everything else. I just really love my job. It's awesome, and I love growing as a marketing professional here and working with people every day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That is the culture that we do strive to create. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the person when you're not at work. Tell us about Jamie when she's on her own. How do you fill your days?
I am a big reader. So I read a lot of fantasy books, some mystery books. I have a huge library at home. I have about 8 bookcases in my little apartment. and they're all full. I also love watching horror movies. The most recent one I saw was the Markiplier one in theaters called Iron Lung. It was really, really good, so if you haven't seen it, I would go see it. Other than, that, I also enjoy watching Twilight, Pitch Perfect series, stuff like that. I am also planning my wedding this year, so that is also taking up a big chunk of my time.
What's your favorite horror movie of all time?
It's called Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
It's kind of like a spoof movie. It has like a bunch of different stuff from like other horror movies like zombies and it's got like the what's that word? The different like tropes all in one.
Okay.
It's really fun.
With the fantasy world, your interest in fantasy, I know that a lot of the gaming is going in that direction. Do you get involved in that at all?
Sometimes. My fiance played the Baldur's Gate game. He played it actually through a few times. I'm not a huge gamer, but I do play Animal Crossing from time to time.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us, Jamie. I appreciate you being on this side of the camera and letting us know, everything about your role. It has become an incredibly pivotal role within our company, within any industry in today's world. I think we started our marketing division maybe a decade ago, and at that time I was really wondering how it's going to fit in, and now I can't imagine not having someone in this role. And you do an incredible job, and to appreciate you joining us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is fun.